So it is probably not going to be the most surprising thing out there, but we are now going to have the Bugatti Vision GT, which is also going to be the 21st Bugatti in Motorfest. Isn't that kind of crazy, bro? Now, the one thing I can't say about the Vision GT is if you do like the Bolide, this car is definitely better than that one in basically every single way. And if you're also going to be a fan of Bugatti, yeah, there's a good amount of cars you can like here, bro. But as all the other racing vehicles, there is not going to be much of any customization for this thing besides the wheels. And I'm pretty sure nobody is going to want these wheels on the car instead of those. Am I right? These look so much better. Also, anybody else have this car in GTA, man? It's kind of weird. For the vanity things, you can also add a good amount of vanities. Funny thing is how this car can get more vanities than the new one that was added. The Alkaline, whatever that thing was called, that French car, that thing has nothing. We can also do the colors as well. So if you guys want blue, you can also have black, green. If you want to, come over here and do green, which looks interesting. You can also do yellow as well. But for me, though, I am going to keep it blue because as far as I do know, you can't change the wheel colors, aka the tires that are on there that are blue. And to be honest, I kind of wish they would have implemented that into the game so you could change it. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? Besides that, you could do the liveries and stuff like that, which is probably obvious. But besides that, there is not going to be much you can do, which again, guys, a lot of the racing cars tend to not have any customization to them. So this is probably not going to be very surprising. Also, what could you actually customize on this thing, bro? I mean, look at it. It is going to be pretty wild. Also, the fact that a lot of these crazy cars are going to have carbon fiber literally all the way around them. I also do know the Pagani's are also very similar, man. That is absolutely wild. The engineering that probably goes behind some of these cars, I cannot imagine how they are actually built because it really is going to be crazy. But here it is going to be nighttime, unfortunately, in game. But let me head over here because I also do want to do a quick top speed run on this car, guys, with a full chemist set. That is going to be pure and frenetic. How do I? Oh, yeah. It's the other button there, bud. I've been playing other games too much, man. Kind of forgetting how to play this one, if you know what I mean. So, spawning outside here, guys, I will head over to the light here so we can check this thing out. Hopefully, the light will help this a bit. So, here's the Bugatti, man. This thing is going to be pretty wild looking. In fact, I could just go into the camera thing here and let me go over to that. And I don't know why I hit the tilt. Wrong button. Let's head over to environment. Let's move this here so you guys can see this thing in the light a little bit. There we go. Check this thing out in the light, guys. Doesn't it look pretty dang insane? I gotta admit, I think blue is probably the best way to do it. They did do a great job with the overall design. Now, some people were like, is this the first game with this car? And I would probably guess that most people do know this car is also in Gran Turismo and has actually been for years for that matter. So if you are wondering about this thing, you can also go drive it on there, which, by the way, I'll show you guys some footage in the background. This car is so dang fun on Gran Turismo. It handles so well. And it's also very quick, but it's not going to be like the fastest type of Vision car, but the handling is absolutely bonkers. This thing was also an asphalt as well, apparently, which I do think it was actually removed on there. But here, let me go into the oh, goodness, look at the interior, man. This is, all right, guys, what do you think about the big camera thing in the middle? Now, I'm going to be real, I don't mind this because I do understand that's the design of the vehicle, obviously. But the one thing I gotta admit that I do mind, though, is if they were going to have the camera view in this game, which I probably am going to blame, this might end up sounding dumb. What was that car doing, bro? Do y'all see that in the rearview mirror? What in the world? I am going to kind of blame PS4. Now, the reason why I say last-gen consoles, though, is I do know the mirrors don't work on there, but we also do know that's probably limiting what this game could do, or who knows, maybe Motorfest is limiting itself with the entire engine they are using. But one thing that does frustrate me with the mirrors in this game is how they're going to, like, kind of skip and they're not 100% clear, which is honestly a bit frustrating, bro. What in the... I don't know what the AI is doing, man. But as I did promise y'all, I do want to do an entire top speed run here to see what this car can do. So let's go see here. Let's hit my nitrous a little bit. Do that one. So it has 7 gears. Probably not that obvious. It is going to sound like a Bugatti. Shocking, I know. But let's see here. Let me go around all these AI here. Oh, man. Okay. Fail. Luckily, I can rewind and fix that. Isn't that funny how you can completely fail and just fix it by going backwards? Let's see. So top speed, guys, it looks like it's going to be around 268 or 267 miles an hour. Somebody said 269. I was testing it last night to see, and I got 268. So 268, 269, tomato, tomato. This thing is definitely going to be a very fast racing car. And on top of it, it handles really well, guys. I think this thing is actually going to be very good in this game. if you are going to be a fan of grand races and stuff like that. Unfortunately, when I try to do grand races, though, there's never racing that's a category in there, and sometimes it's the last one. Then I have to go back into it and try to drive this car to test it in the last part of it when I only want to drive this car. Again, Ubisoft, hello, can we have some PvP stuff that's based on classes? That would be wonderful if we can actually get class-based PvP so I could drive cars like this one if I feel like using it. But besides that, I'll jump into a race, guys, and talk about it a bit, and that's kind of the only way I could do it. So one of the things I did want to talk about here at the Vision GT is honestly, guys, is going to start with a question with you all. What do you guys think of this Elite Bundle? Do you like it? Also, are you kind of tired of seeing Bugattis added to the game? I do know for a fact people are going to be like, no, man, nobody's asking for another Bugatti and stuff like that, and I really don't understand why they keep adding a lot of them. But then again, though, we are going to have 21 Bugattis in the game, or at least you could say variants of them. There's probably not going to be 21, but, 21 car/variants and all that. But either way, we are now going to have the Vision GT, guys. One thing I am very happy about is this car is going to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because initially I was like, man, if they make this car really bad, bro, after playing a lot of Gran Turismo 7, I was driving the Vision GT a good amount, and I was genuinely enjoying this car in that game, so I was like, alright, well, hopefully the crew does it justice. And so far, I would say this car is actually going to be pretty dang good. And I would say a lot of people are probably going to end up liking this car. I can definitely see the Vision GT being a good racing car. Most likely not going... I don't know if it's going to be meta, because I do know a lot of people ask that question, because honestly, I can't really blame anyone. We all do know there's like probably 1 or 2 cars in every category that's just so much better than everything else. And there's a lot of cars that are honestly just not that good. So people are like, yo, can we get a new car or something in the game that might actually be meta and stuff? And I would say this car is going to compete very well. Although, guys, I gotta admit, again, I'm not really playing a lot of Grand Race. I don't really enjoy them. I really wish we can get class-based PvP, because I would love to test cars like this in there. Mess around with settings, even though I don't really think the Vision GT needs any settings on it, as this car is going to be absolutely amazing, pretty much stock, and are, not changing anything on it. Also, guys, you'll notice in the rear view, camera thing right now on the dashboard that it's going to be bugging out and a bit glitchy. I know that's not going to be, the biggest issue, but I also feel like people might look at that and go, man, that's kind of distracting, or that's going to be kind of ugly. With all that being said, though, I gotta admit one thing. I would say this Elite Bundle is probably going to be better for many people compared to some of the other ones. Now, the big thing is, though, if you're not going to be a fan of the Bugatti, then yeah, you're probably not going to care for it. Do stay tuned for tomorrow. I am going to do a video on the Apollo, guys. I am excited to drive that thing, and oh my goodness, racing cars do not handle off-road. Who would have thought? I am hoping the Apollo is going to be good, but apparently the word around is the Apollo is not that great, or at least not meta. It is probably going to be usable, guys, but again, the better cars are most likely going to stomp you. To be honest with me, though, I'm just really happy that this car is better than the Bolide. Plus, this thing looks absolutely insane. I remember getting on Grand Theft Auto a long time ago and building a car that looks just like this one. You all know exactly which one I'm talking about, the car you could take into Benny's and stuff. You can kind of build it similar to this one. Obviously, it's not going to, but you can have a similar setup and color combo like this car. Overall, though, guys, do let me know your thoughts on the Vision GT in the comments below. What do you guys think about this car? Are you going to be using it? Is it something you might end up using in Grand Race and stuff? To be honest, I do know I have been saying this a lot, but I really do hope we end up getting some type of class-based PvP. I would love to test vehicles like this going against other racing cars, and I do understand a lot of the cars might not be that great, but man, we get new dope cars like this in the game. It would be fun to actually test them and not, have an RNG of, oh, do we have racing? Can I actually use this vehicle? But do let me know your thoughts on the Vision GT in the comments below. Overall, I think this car is very cool, and I think a lot of people are going to like it. It's very fast, it handles very good, and I think they got the model down to a T for the most part.